Hello, everybody. I'm Martin Shumpton, and this is a coaching room community call. I am joined by the one, the only James Hayes. Hello, James.
Hey. Good to have me.
Good to have you. And we are going to be talking about the power of intentionality today. I've got a few slides which I will show in due course. James, do you want to give a little bit of background? Why did you choose this topic? Before we get into it, why the power of intentionality for today's community call?
So this is a topic that's relevant to everyone. This is a topic that has some features to it that just relate to everyone, no matter no matter whether it's a personal context, no matter whether it's a professional context. It's just relevant for everyone because it's about knowing what your purpose is. If you know what your purpose is, you can focus. If you don't know what your purpose is, you'll suffer from what's called an intention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Then no matter what area in life you're in, that's going to result in distractions. That's going to result in you staying up at night wondering to yourself, am I headed in the right direction?
Okay.
Where am I really going?
Let's talk a little bit more about that before we get into that. There's clever wordplay there on the intention deficit disorder because it plays on the attention deficit. So let's talk about the difference. It's all sort of pre-set up difference between attention and intention, or will we come to that?
No, we can address that now. Attention is what you are paying attention to. So it's the what you're looking at in life. So right now, if you're watching this, well, what you're watching is this video. So you're sending your attention here, but why are you doing it? That's intention. Your why, your motive, your reasoning governs what you pay attention to. So in the hierarchy of focus, it sits above the things that are going on in your life, the things that are occurring. Why you're looking at them is more important than what you're looking at. Let me give you an example. So animals and small children live attentional lives. If you've got a dog or if you've got a cat, let's just say you've got a dog, you come home, the dog drops immediately what he or she's doing and runs to see you at the front door. If there's a dog barking, another dog barking in the background, the dog will drop whatever it's doing, go bark at the other dog. If a cat jumps over the fence, he or she will stop barking, chase the cat. Throw a bone, it will stop what it's doing, chase the bone. Children are like that too. You could distract children with all kinds of things. And what's happening when you're living attentionally is the environment is managing your attention. It's managing your focus. You're not really in control of it yourself. You're just kind of giving it away to whatever just happens to be happening. Well, that's true and normal for animals. That's normal, healthy even for children. But then a lot of adults are living attentional lives as well. That's not so healthy. If you find yourself, whether it's at work or in relationships with people or wherever it is, if you find yourself getting distracted, you're focusing on the task at hand, whatever it might be, for a little while, and then you notice you're on Facebook, or even if you're just talking to someone, personally or professionally, and you find yourself drifting, you're just thinking about other things. It's almost like you're having a little bout of micro ADD. Attention deficit disorder. But the reason that's occurring is because you're lacking intention, not really connected with the why that you have behind what you're paying attention to. And Anthony Robbins' study, a group did a study in 2002 that found that essentially 95% of people do not set goals and follow through on any actions associated with them. And only 5% do. And what they found was that the 5% that do are employing the 95% that don't. And so what this is pointing to is, if you're not clear on what your intentions are in life, then what will happen is you'll end up serving somebody else's intentions. Yeah, now you're drifting.
Perfect. Right. Let's now bring up. We've got a few slides. That was our setup. I'm just going to have to shift screens 1 second. So it's going to go all infinite until it didn't, which hopefully it didn't. There we go. Can you see that, James?
Yes.
I think everyone else can as well, hopefully. Right. So what's driving you? Intentionality. Over to you.
So we spend a lot of time, I'm generalizing, we spend a lot of time in society. We see this a lot in the practitioner trainings, NLP practitioner trainings. We see a lot of emphasis on the question, what are you going to do? Or what are you going to do when you grow up? How are you going to spend your time? But what we don't ask so well is what is behind all of that? What's driving you? If you just take a second to think, whoever's listening to this call, if you just take a second to think just about your profession. Yeah, you know what you do, but do you know what it's about for you? Do you know what sits behind it? You know, the why you're doing it in the first place. And there's layers to this question. You might come back and say, well, you know, it's good money, the perks are okay. But then what is important to you about the money and the perks? Then you're going to have a different answer. What's important to you about that different? Maybe it's flexibility and quality of life. Well, what's important to you about that? This is a self-reflexive question that you can ask a number of times. And for most people, or for everyone that I've ever spoken to, sitting behind it all, when they actually take the time to look and ask the question, is usually something beautiful. There's usually something very touching, very meaningful. And so intentionality is about asking the question and taking the time to answer, what is really driving you? Because when you know what's driving you, well, the answer, well, what should I do? Or what job should I have? Or what direction should I take in my life becomes much more obvious. If you don't know what's driving you, then there's a quote, I think it was from an ancient historical figure, Seneca, who said that no wind is favorable if you don't know to which port you're sailing. So that's what this question is pointing to.
Okay. Then we have the intentionality hierarchy.
Good. So this is essentially a breakdown of your focus at any given moment. You know, there's what you're paying attention to. And here are the questions like, what are you paying attention? What should you do? Where should you start? What should you be when you grow up? All those kinds of questions are asking, what are you going to give your attention to? What are you going to give your focus to? But you can't really qualify that answer or any of the answers that you come up with unless you know why those things matter to you, unless you know what's important. So first and foremost is asking the question, whoever's listening to this, asking the question, what am I about as a person? If I'm going to give my time, my energy, my heartbeats to anything in life, what is important to me about how I spend them? What is important to me about what I invest my life into? If you know what you're about, let's just say, for example, that you realize that you are absolutely about spreading happiness. Or maybe you're absolutely about the ending suffering wherever you can. If you know why you're here, why you're about anything, then it's so much easier to answer, well, what should I do? Because now you can ask, does what I'm paying attention to align with my intention? And then if you know why and therefore what you're paying attention to, then how you go about it, you can also qualify. It was Rollo May that said, when we have attention and intention, we have will. Yeah, willpower, or in other words, motivation. If you don't really know what to pay attention or even why, then motivation's hit and miss. Motivation is short-term, pleasure pain. But if you know why, then in the words of Friedrich Nietzsche, he or she with a great enough why can withstand and bear and endure almost anyhow. So that's the point. With intention, with why, you have focus, you have energy, you have motivation, you have will. And you're real clear on which direction you're going in life and why you're headed there.
Okay. Are you paying the right price? Don't think you see the bottom bit. One sec. Let me see if I can just get rid of that. Ooh, present to everybody. 1 second. I'm going to do that to do that. There we go. That's better. Are you paying the right price? James.
So here's the thing. If you know what you're about, if you know why you're here, if you've taken however long it takes to sit down and ask that question, and you start to form an answer, and by the way, that answer will probably change words over your lifetime. The intention probably not going to change, but the way you articulate it, the clearer it gets. The words may change for you, and so wherever you are with that question, well, then the next question is, what is the price you're paying? Because nothing's for free, right? If you have an intention, and you can think of your intentions as what you ultimately care about. Yeah, your ultimate care in life. Well, if you're going to honor that care, if you're going to actualize that care, if you're going to get what you ultimately care about, what you ultimately intend, it's not for free. It's going to require you to pay a price. In fact, whether you go for it or not, you're going to pay a price. And the question is, you're paying the right price. So let's just say that your intention in life is to spread happiness, hypothetically. Well, one of the things that you're going to have to give up, if that's the case, is wallowing in unhappiness, is spreading unhappiness. One of the prices that you're going to have to pay is doing whatever it takes, learning whatever it takes, accepting and resolving whatever it takes on the inside for you to manifest that happiness and gift it to others, help facilitate it with others. That's gonna cost you. It's also going to cost you not to do that. You might realize. One person shared recently one of the trainings that we did. He shared, I want to reach the peak of what it means to be a self-actualized human being. Well, that's gonna cost time. That's gonna cost money. That's gonna cost that person giving themselves to their development and doing trainings and doing learnings and reading, and it's gonna all these different things for them to manifest that and embody that intention. And so one day they might be sitting there thinking, well, I could do that, but I could sit down and watch TV and just relax and not really pay attention to that and not really give myself to that. I don't want to pay that price. And that's fine, except in that situation, when you feel that you're not able to pay that price, whatever that intention is, know that simultaneously you're selling out of that intention. You're giving up that intention. In that moment, what you're paying is what you ultimately care about. And what you're getting in return is short-term gratification or some kind of immediate comfort. So either way, you're giving something up. But the question is, are you giving up the right thing? Are you getting a good deal? Are you giving up the things you care less about in service of what you care ultimately about? Or have you got that equation back to front? And now you're selling out of what you ultimately care about in service of what's expedient in the moment. And you're back to living an intentional life.
Cool. Let me come back in. I've got a few questions for you. Hold on. So, this is James. What should people be doing? Do you think they should write down and have it like given, as in self-given life purpose? This is what I think. Should they be scribbling it, or should they be doing a life plan, or what's your method with this?
I would say start with what you've got already. And most people have a job. If they don't have a job, then they're probably looking for one. If they're not even looking for one, they're probably doing something with the bulk of their time. Yeah, they're engaged in something with the bulk of their time. For most people, that's going to be a job. So then the question is, there's two parts to this process. The first question is, what is important to you about what you're doing? Whatever your job is, what is important to you about it? And you might have a couple of answers. Whatever those answers are, write those answers down. As you write those answers down, ask the question again, but this time about the answers you just wrote, not about the job. So you might say, just hypothetically, earning a lot of money is really important to me about my job. Yeah, surface level answer, surface level why. Well, what is important to you about earning a lot of money? You might say freedom of choice. Well, what is important to you about freedom of choice? And just keep asking that question. You might have to ask that question 5, 6, 7 times. Eventually, one of two things, or both of these things will happen. You're going to get to a theme. The same kind of language is just going to keep coming back. Maybe the language for you is I just want to experience everything there is in life. I just want to experience the beauty of life because it's finite. Yeah, you start getting this kind of repetitive language coming out. That's a signal that you're at the edge of the map. Yeah, you're at the edge of the thinking, behind all of the thinking. The other thing that will probably occur here, especially if you're on the money, is you'll experience some emotions. The emotional connection with the answer will change. Maybe when you first answered the question, making a lot of money, you don't really feel anything about that. But you get to the top and you realize this is about gifting to the world all of the things that you never had. One person shared recently that her intention was being the voice for the unheard. Well, she's gone into humanitarian work. She's championing right now in the law space the rights of the unheard, the rights of the disadvantaged. And for her, that was a big bang. If you've got that answer and the emotions start to change and you keep getting this kind of same repetitive language, that's a sign that you're so close. That's step one. Step two is to take that answer and just sit with it for a while. Don't do anything. Don't overthink it. Don't over-rationalize it. Just be with it. Just hold it in the sky of your mind with a little question in your heart: is this true for me? If I was just going to give one thing to the world, if I was just going to give one thing to the people that I love, if I was just going to give one thing to me, is this what it would be? Do those two processes, and that's going to be enough. For most people, that's going to be enough, at least to find the beginning of the thread.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes the words aren't so clear, but the resonant experience is. Well, once you've got that, follow that thread.
Cool. So quick recap in a sentence for each of the steps. First step.
Identify something you're spending heaps of time with and ask yourself what is important to you about that thing that you're doing or about that job. And whatever answer you get, keep asking that same question with whatever new answer comes out.
Perfect.
Until you've got repetitive language or strong emotions come out.
Great. Second step?
Second step, whatever answer you get, whatever beginnings of an answer you get, just hold that in your heart, hold that in the background of your mind over a period of days, weeks, even just meditate on it, sit with it. With the question, is this true for me? Do I connect with this? Is this what I am about? I can say yes to this subjectively, emotionally, with my heart, with my mind.
Perfect. Go on. What was the other?
I was going to say, once you've got that, well, now you can start asking, is what you are paying attention to in your life connected with that why? If it's not, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your heartbeats. You're selling out what you ultimately care about for whatever you just happen to be doing. So this is going to be a process that allows you to focus on what really matters in life to you and invest your heartbeats wisely, paying a price that's worth paying.
Perfect. Next steps for people watching, if they want to go further.
If you want to go further, I highly recommend checking out our one-day EQ day, emotional intelligence intro to emotional intelligence with NLP, where this is one of the questions we really explore face-to-face with the group for a period of time.
Great. And check out the site for information on the NLP practitioner coming up as well. We've got them in Sydney, we've got them in Melbourne. So you have that information there, and reach out to max.young@thecoachroom.com.au if you want to book or you want dates and you don't want to go to the website. You go to the website, you get all the dates as well. There you go. And on the comment thread on Facebook and on YouTube, but particularly on Facebook, if you're in the community, leave questions. James and I will be there. Other people will be there if you want to call them in, Joseph and Jay and Max, other community members. And thank you so much, James, for this community call on the power of intentionality. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.